Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to FAFcast. I know, it's been quite a while, but I had a lot of stuff to go and actually do, because, well, having a garden during summer is actually quite a hassle. So yeah, I've been dealing with that, not to mention the heat wave has been fucking killing me. It's just goddamn awful, so I have been dying the past months. But well, enough about that. Let's go and focus on what kind of a game are we gonna go and see today. Because holy hell, these players right here gave us a beautiful spectacle that is really worth coming out of the woodwork and casting it. So, what is the map? The map is a random map generated by nothing else but Neroxy's map generator. As such, it's not something you would see often, considering it is a one-of-a-kind game. And looking at the map, there is not that much reclaim, only 4000 mass on the wall map and spread out in a small little patches of rocks, like 300 mass per little patch, so not much. If anything, most of the reclaim is most likely gonna come out from these little civilian buildings. After all, you wanna go and reclaim them if you can. But who are the players? Because the players are the most interesting thing about this game, and they're all quite high rated, with each team being over 2000 rated at average, which is just amazing. And we can already see it seems like not only Shen, but also Farmslet here went for an early bomber. This is just gonna not end up too nicely, considering that both teams should be ready to actually go and get a single T1 MAA out on time to go and deal with them. Although it will depend if the players are actually paying attention. Okay, Mr. Tagada actually managed to go and grab one Sky Slammer out from his factory. And the bomb is gonna... No, the bomb is gonna connect as the bomber from Mr. Tagada is actually gonna go and kill one of the engineers. Meanwhile, the bomber belonging to Shen is already on 2 kills and counting. Let's actually go and move it like that and see if the bomber is actually gonna deal more damage. Oh no! The upgrading mechs for Mr. Marknoob have been killed by the bomber belonging to Shen. Meanwhile, that bomber over the head of Mr. Tagada belonging to Farmslet is having a really hard time killing anything. Meanwhile, Shen is gonna go and drop a bomb on the bombers, on the engineers belonging to Farmslet, and oh no, 2 of them have been dead. Meanwhile, Farmslet is trying to go and actually... Oh no, the bomber belonging to Farmslet, he only managed to go and kill a single engineer. What a shame. That was a bad bomber, but on the other hand, the bomber belonging to Shen is still trying to go... Oh no, 9 units killed. Another bomb dropping, and the T1 power generators are gonna go down in flames. Holy hell, what a brutal bomber. 11 kills. 12 kills. 5 vet bomber, and it's gonna keep on dealing damage. The MAA comes out, is gonna go and try to kill it off, but it's not gonna happen as the bomber keeps on running away. Is it gonna deal any more damage or no? No, the MAA from Mr. Battlefront is actually on the field, meaning that the bomber have to run. No, it is dead. But that was one hell of a bomber. Good job, Mr. Shen. Good job. This bomber was worth rage quitting, honestly. So much damage, 1k mass killed at 4 minutes by a single T1 bomber. Brutal, completely brutal if I can say so. So anyway, who are the players? On the left flank for the top team we're gonna have Mr. G playing Cybran in beautiful sky blue. To his right side, coming here to go and support him on the left flank is gonna be Mr. Uninstalled Noob, playing QEF in the classic QEF color. Good job for picking the faction and the color correspondingly. On the middle, we're gonna have Battlefront playing Aeon in red. Bloodthirsty red coming to the middle. Then, on the edge slot is gonna be no one else but Mr. Bully playing QEF in grassy green. Someone have been feeling like touching grass, huh? Anyway, to the south, the next player is gonna be Mr. Farmsletje playing Aeon in manly pink. And then finally but not least, for the top team, it is gonna be Macronoob playing Aeon in Xanadu Grey. Their enemies are gonna be people from hell, starting out with Tagada, playing Cybran in Burgundy Red, already going to the right flank. Supporting him is gonna be then no one else but Shen, the man with the T1 bomber skills like no one else, playing Seraphim in purple. Then, coming from the middle, for the bottom team is gonna be Mr. Azot, or actually maybe it's not Azot, or maybe it is Azot, but who knows, he's playing Seraphim in lime green. Then, for the air player, it is gonna be Balan Slave Noob, simply known as Harzer, playing Aeon in dark pink. Then to the north, it is gonna be Mr. Putin, also known as F. Odin, playing Seraphim in innocent white. And finally, last but not least for the bottom team, it is gonna be Rezinoob, also known as Resistance, playing UEF in a beautiful lavender violet. So, let's go and see what is happening, because we already can see that there is a first Gunkum upgrade being made by Mr. Battlefront on the middle. After scoping out the mass, it seems like he's gonna go all in on the T1 spam. Not sure about this choice, considering the map is actually quite big. It is 15 by 15, and there is a lot of open space, not to mention there's not that much to actually go and fight for on the middle, meaning I don't really bite. Meanwhile, Mr. Farmsletje making a little heart sign from the walls, always appreciated. But the question is, what is the rest of the players doing? As we can see, Mr. Rezinoob actually pushing in quite hard with just a few units against Uninstalled Noob, trying to go and grab the expansion, but unfortunately, not only the ACU is here, the T1 factories have also been finished, meaning that Rezi will not manage to go and grab this. Instead, he's gonna go and cut his losses short and simply fall back and regroup, even more so as you can see that his ACU is alone on the left flank. Meanwhile, the push from Battlefront on the middle is coming out quite nicely. The Auroras are not meeting any resistance at all. There is only the ACU belonging to Mr. F. Odin coming in to go and stop them. Also, a single bomber, the Sin V from the Seraphim Air Factory, is not gonna drop even a single bomb. Yep, not a single bomb have been dropped. Pathetic. Anyway, Mr. Odin is gonna go and meet the Auroras in the field in the open, which is not good for the Auroras, considering they wanna go and play on range, meaning that the units are gonna get eradicated quite fast. That is unless the ACU belonging to Battlefront actually manages to catch up. Because the moment it catches up, it is gonna be bad news, considering that not only have the speed upgrade, it also have the range upgrade, and F Putin being on only 4k HP is gonna spell trouble, as the ACU belonging to Battlefront is finally in red. The overcharge is being fired. And as such, the ACU belonging to Putin drops down to 2k HP, 1k HP, dropping lower and lower, 500, 400, 300, 100, and kaboom, baby, the first victim of the game is Mr. Odin, dying to the Auroras and the ACU belonging to Battlefront, who's not gonna go and stop. He is still pushing in hard, and he means business, because he's not gonna go and stop. Even if his units are here no more, he still have the ACU to keep on pushing in hard. The T1 bombers are coming to the rescue. We can see them trying to go and deal as much damage as possible to Battlefront ACU, but I'm afraid that Mr. Azot is unfortunately also gonna keep on dying. The overcharge being fired by Battlefront. The ACU of Azot dropping now to 1k and 500 HP. Battlefront dropping to 4k HP, and it seems like he's also unfortunately gonna die together with Mr. Azot, because there is just way too much DPS coming out from the gunships. And kaboom, baby, kaboom. 2 more players have been ejected, as Mr. Azot and Battlefront have died in a draw at minute 9 and 50 seconds. So, what is gonna happen now? We can see Mr. Jeep actually getting the stealth upgrade on his Cyber ACU, also gun upgrade already done. Meanwhile, Resinoob, also known as Resistant, is grabbing the nano upgrade together with the gun upgrade, meaning we will have 2 guncoms duking it out on the left flank. And we will see how it will work out even more so, as we can see uninstalled Noob with the T2 suit upgrade, meaning that if he wishes to, he can grab a fast gun upgrade. On the left flank, we have Tagada with his own guncom, meanwhile Shen and Harser are not gonna get the upgrades, as they're busy echoing their own units. Also Tagada with the 3 bases to actually go on command, meaning it's gonna be quite hard to micro his AC on the front line. But what is happening on the top? We can see as Mr. Jeep and Rezi are actually exchanging fire as they are trying to go and kill as many units as they can. But the pillars are on the field, I repeat, the UEF pillars are on the field. A beautiful overcharge coming up from Mr. Jeep. Unfortunately, only a single E-storage used, meaning that the pillars were alive on just 100 HP left. The T1 PD is being erected by Resinoob, as we can see. Mr. Uninstalled Noob actually building out the triads. Nope, never mind. Nope, yet. He's gonna build 1 more, but just a little bit closer. The T1 PD is up and running. He's gonna go and dish out some pain to the units belonging to Jeep. As we can see, his ACU taking a lot of fire, having to go and actually fall back for a little while and wait for the triads to actually be finished by Mr. Uninstalled Noob. The triad is finished. He's gonna go after the T1 engineers, which is a good choice. The pillars are in the range to actually go and deal damage to it, meaning that the triad is unfortunately gonna go and fall down, as it have been built just a little bit too close to the enemy units. The triad is dead, as we can see some Monties coming in to the rescue, but they were actually a little bit too slow. As such, it seems like the triad... Nope, the triad is not gonna be rebuilt, as Mr. Uninstalled Noob just doesn't have enough build power to finish it on time. The pillars from Rezi are proving to be quite a menace, as the T1 units and a triad are not gonna be enough to go and stop it. There is also a bunch of T2 gunships from Mr. Tagada flying all over the place, although unfortunately they're gonna have to go and fall back, as Mr. Uninstalled Noob managed to go and grab a single air cleaner, meaning that the air units will have to simply go and fall back. After all, you don't wanna have your T1 interceptors and your T2 gunships being under fire from the enemy flag. But let's go and look at the mass income for both teams, as it seems like the bottom team is actually quite ahead. 480 mass per tick. No, wait, never mind, this is the top team. The top team is actually ahead in the mass department, meanwhile the bottom team is in 450 mass per tick, meaning 30 mass per second difference between the teams. Yet again, Jeep exchanging some fire with Mr. Rezi, although I don't really buy this choice because Rezi have the nano upgrade, meaning that Jeep is actually gonna lose out on the straights. What I would like to see is Mr. Uninstalled actually grabbing a little gun upgrade for himself, or maybe even, I don't know, some kind of the nano upgrade. Meanwhile, Mr. Farmsled here still being stuck in the middle of his little heart. He's a victim of love affection. And, well, someone just died, as it seems like the AC belonging to Macronum have been just sniped by a bunch of T2 gunships belonging to Tagada, as XDs are being put in the chat. Because it seems like no one from the top team actually managed to go and make any kind of interceptors or anything. Or maybe it was just a Control K coming out, just to kill all of the T2 gunships and T1 units belonging to Mr. Tagada. Who knows, I wasn't paying attention. and most likely you weren't paying attention to, so it's gonna be a mystery of this game. Anyway, it seems like the left flank is where the action is. Even more so, as the T3 HQ have been finished for Mr. Uninstalled Noob, meaning that it is a time for the Titan's Palm. The guerrilla tactics are on the field. I repeat, the guerrilla tactics have been initiated by the UEF player known by the name of Uninstalled Noob. Meaning that Rezi right now will have a hard time fighting them off. Not only does he have to go and deal with the 2 guncoms belonging to the enemy team, but also there's gonna be a bunch of Titans running all over the field, and we can already see them making a move orders all around the place. Most likely they will try to go and for some kind of a flanking route so they can actually avoid fighting against the enemy ACU. Mr. Rezino taking a lot of damage from the enemy Guncom and also 2 triads belonging to Uninstalled Noob. Meaning that he better actually watch out even more so, as there is a bunch of Titans and a bunch of angry mantises coming for his booty. Yep, you better run away. A nice overcharge shot from Resistance, killing a hoplite and a few T1 units. But at the side of the Titans, Mr. Rezi is running away, which is a great choice. Few parachutes gonna go and tank the overcharge shot for him. But I'm still afraid that the left flank is actually gonna be lost. After all, the Titans are currently one of the most overpowered units on the T3 stage. And God bless, because UEF otherwise kind of sucks. Because Percivals are just fucking horrible. Anyway, it seems like Mr. Farmsled here also hit the T3 stage, as we can see him actually amassing a few Harbingers, also a few ASF, and a single sniper bot. God damn it, I hate these little spiders. I hate them with passion. Just remove them from game balance team. Please remove them. Anyway, coming back to the top lane, we can see Mr. Jeep and Uninstalled Noob pushing in with both of their ACUs, although Jeep have other idea currently, seeing as there is Triad being erected by Mr. Rezi. The Titans are gonna go and try to make a run by on the right flank, but the AC belonging to Resistance is unfortunately ready to intercept them. A single overcharge shot being fired, although unfortunately it seems like there was not enough power in the bank to go and get rid of the pesky Titans. Uninstalled Noob yet again coming in close to go and duke it out against Mr. Rezi Noob. The Titan's gonna go and clean up the T1 units belonging to Resistance. And also the Pylars. The Pylars are of no consequence to the speedy Titans. They are nothing to stop them. Some Mantises also pouring in from Mr. Jib, meaning that this expansion belonging to Resistance will unfortunately fall down, as we can already see some T1 air factories lying around dead and waiting to be reclaimed. Also still exchanging fire between the ACUs. A few interceptors flying over the battlefield in a beautiful spectacle, although there is nothing for them to fight, so they are nothing but a show of force for the bottom team, meaning that no units are allowed in this airspace above Resistance, but unfortunately the air units are not the problem. The problem is the Titans, as we can see them making a run for the hills. The Titans are simply way too fast to be caught by the T2 units, not to mention the ACU is also way too slow to actually go and catch it. And right now we can see a beautiful split move from Uninstalled Noob, making sure that Mr. Resistance cannot answer to this little pushes. After all, he is just way too slow. His units are not ready to go and catch the enemy forces. As we can see, the Titans are gonna go for the enemy base here, most likely gonna go and kill off a few of the T2 Maxes, although I say T2 Maxes. There is only a single T2 Max in the base belonging to Resistance, as he's only pulling in 550... Holy Mother of God. Holy Mother of God, Tagada. Tagada is already sitting at 600 mass per second, at 18 minutes into the game. I mean, I guess that explains why there was basically no action happening on the other side of the map, because Farmsletia and Tagada were just grabbing all of their economy together, while the left flank is basically just smashing grog together. They're just bumping their chests like a true man. Who gives a shit about maxes when you can go and make some units? Still, a great run by the Titans. They dealt some damage to the base belonging to Resistance, and right now they're gonna go for the base belonging to Mr. Tagada. And it seems like there is not much to go and stop them. A few T2 PDs are being erected to go and protect the little maxes belonging to Tagada. The first T3 max, is it gonna go and fall down? No, it is not, as it seems like the Titans are unfortunately not gonna kill anything, as the Spectres from Harzer are here to go and make sure that nothing of value is gonna be lost. Yep. Not the best raid at this point. Oh no. Don't run away, just split them and try to finish off a single max, because you did no damage. Literally no damage to the base belonging to Tagada, so not the best raid. But even then, there was a lot of damage done to the base belonging to Mr. Resistance, as we can see him having to fall back quite hard to his core base. And there is nothing but just a few T1 maxes in here, okay? A second T2 max have been erected for him, but he's still left on only 70 mass per second. Even more so as he's losing his middle position, so he's gonna get even more behind. There is some fight happening finally on the right flank, as we can see a bunch of Harbingers pushing out together with Mr. Farmstead, as the Loyalists are proving to be nothing to stop the march of the Aeon Illuminate. As Mr. Farmstead not only have a bunch of army units, he also have a juicy, beefy Aeon ACU in here. Not only the gun upgrade, but also the intel upgrade on the left arm, and also a heavy shield, meaning this is one hell of a chonker. So right now, let's go and see what is happening in the air players, because they have been sitting quite silent, not doing anything. We have 14 ASF for Mr. Bully Noob in the top team, which is not much. But his economy is actually quite good, as he's standing on 264 mass per second. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Mr. Harzer is on 240 mass per second, meaning he's a little bit behind. But he have nearly he have more than triple the ASF force, meaning that if he were actually to go for the air fight, never mind, it seems like I have missed quite a few ASF, as they were standing on the left flank instead of the base belonging to Bully. So let's go and take another look at the units. It's gonna be actually the same amount of units, although we can see that there is a 20 Aeon ASF in the mix. So Farmsolati was actually also contributing to the ASF numbers, and quite hard, that I have to say, because the third of the units are belonging to him, not to mention he also have some ASF on his own, meaning that the top team actually have the air superiority right now, but it seems like they're not gonna use it. As right now, what we have to keep attention to is the Titans belonging to Mr. Uninstalled Noob, which are just running all over the place. And it seems like there's not much to actually go and stop them. There's a single Spectre trying to go and deal with them. But there is no army, no nothing, and there is like 50 titans coming to the enemy bases. There is no T1 PDs, no nothing. No army to speak of. The T2 Max is gonna go and fall down, and even worse, it was already halfway down to the T3 upgrade. Meaning this is already quite a big mass loss for Mr. Tagada, and Bully says Ahwasa have been built somewhere. No, it have only been started by Mr. Shen. But the Titans are not stopped. They are just marching forward. There is a single sniper and a few loyalists in their way. But it is gonna be proof pointless, as the T3 Max is gonna go and fall down, as Mr. Tagada is losing more and more units and buildings to the bunch of Titans belonging to Uninstalment. Although he's gonna go and fall back now, seeing as he have no air cover or nothing at all. Not to mention, the loyalists from Mr. Tagada are actually slowly but surely gathering in one spot, meaning that the Titans will have to go and look for somewhere else to push in. And what a juicy base it is if they actually go and push in here. It seems like there's not much to protect the base belonging to Resistance, because most of his forces are actually gathered up in the north front, trying to go and face the forces belonging to Mr. Jeep, who's actually started building the spider bot. Not my choice. I would actually go for the crab, but this is still 24 minutes into the game, so the spider bot can still deal a lot of damage. On the right flank, we actually can see Mr. Tagada pushing in with a really nasty unit mix. T3 shields from Seraphine, bricks and loyalists from Cybran forces, Autumns, and the hated sniper bots. God damn it, did I say how much I hate them? I just want them erased. Come on, Balance Team, remove them for me. I am really gonna be grateful. Although it seems like Mr. Farmslet is still playing around, trying to go and force some kind of unit movement from his opponent. His opponent being Tagada. Also, there was some damage done to the mechs in here. As it seems like, I think... Yes, there were drops from Mr. Farmslet, yes, we can actually see the wreckage of a single Harbinger, so I assume these little mechs have died to the enemy Harbinger drops. And the Titans are actually pouring in, as Mr. Resistance is in quite a pickle. All of his forces are unfortunately in the top spot, and there is nothing to protect his base, and it seems like he's gonna lose his mass production yet again, which is gonna put him quite behind. Third time in a row, if I can say so, as the Titans are slowly but surely pouring in, dealing devastating damage to the enemy base, as we can see the plasma bolters firing away. The Percivals are too slow to run away. Oh no, the energy storage is... Oh my goodness. Energy storage just managed to go and kill 2 enemy Titans and also deal a lot of damage to the other ones. But it is not gonna be enough, as you can see the base is still in shambles. One after another, the buildings are exploding and nothing but wreckage is left in their wake, as the Titans are just content with the damage they have done, and as such they're going to go now and fall back. Just like that. Just like that. There's nothing left. This base have been eradicated. And right now, Mr. Resistance is left with nothing but a smoldering rubble, as the Titans have proved yet again to be quite powerful unit. Just look at them, just look how amazing of a unit they are. Fast, agile and packing quite a punch. Everything you want in a unit on such an open area. After all, with a unit this fast, you can always pick where and when you wanna go and fight. Meaning that it is your opponent who's gonna be at your mercy. But the Monkey Lord from Jeep is actually hitting the field. You can see it actually starting to fire its heavy bolters at the units belonging to Resistance. Although, there is a chicken coming from Tagada to go and support the left flank, as the Monkey Lord is gonna start dealing out a lot of damage. Meanwhile, the Titans, which just a seconds ago were ravaging the base belonging to Resistance, are hitting now the forces on the front line. Just look at how fast and agile these guys are. Amazing stuff. The guerrilla tactics of UEF, just a chef's kiss. Dealing damage in a few places at the same time, and you can never catch them. And now, seeing that this was actually a bad fight, they can just go and run away, and the enemy forces, using the Percivals and bricks, are not gonna be fast enough to even go and catch them. Meaning that even if you go and take a bad fight, you can still opt out of it. Now let's go and take a look at what is happening on the right flank, because there is also experimental units here. A few shockers gonna keep on dropping bombs on the enemy MAA, as you can see. Mr. Farmslatier trying to go and use the Air Force to go and deal with the enemy pesky sniper bots. They're annoying and I want to see them suffer. As the Spectre's gunships are dealing enormous damage to them. There is also actually a Novak satellite. Here comes the Strat Bombers. Gonna go and drop a few bombs at the enemy units. The bomb connects, dealing a little bit of a damage to the brick and anything, but they're gonna go and get mopped up by the ASF belonging to Mr. Harzer, and as such the Air Force belonging to the Wheel is not gonna deal much more damage. But holy hell, to think I would actually see a Novak satellite dealing damage to the enemy T3 units, that is quite a sight. That truly is quite a sight. As we can see that this is gonna be actually a little bit of a stalemate. We can see Mr. Wheelie coming dangerously close with his heavy ACU. Although it seems like he's wanna just go and throw a few overcharged shots, but on the other hand we have the Monkey Lord actually extending fire against the enemy ACU belonging to Resistance, and beautiful overcharged shots finishes the Monkey Lord in a single shot, as Mr. Resistance is pushing in hard right now. With the chicken bot being donated by Tagada, it seems like the Lady Luck is smiling it again for him. He might be playing 2v1. But he still didn't say the last word, as we can see him still trying to go and recover the position he had lost in the early game. But a few Ravagers from Mr. Uninstalled Noob are gonna be enough to go and disintegrate any kind of a large T3 bot push. Not to mention the bunch of Titans, although they're eating a lot of damage from the enemy chicken, the AoE ball is gonna miss. God bless. Most of the AoE damage have been missed, but it seems like never mind, there is actually way too much happening, as you can see. The other flank, where Mr. Tagada was actually playing around, is gonna be a big loss, as we can see his bricks dying one after another to the Harbingers and Fervors belonging to Mr. Falstaff. And the big chicken there, Edoda, belonging to Mr. Resistance, is also taking a lot of damage from Mr. Resistance. I mean, from the Unisal. Oh, a beautiful drop by the Ass Washer belonging to Shen is gonna go and eradicate a big force. A big chunk of the forces belonging to Mr. Farmslatier, and as such is gonna go and have to go and fall back as he have no air cover. Meanwhile, the chicken belonging to Mr. Resistance is actually managing to go and kill off all of the units belonging to Mr. Unisal. But watch out! Here comes the ASF and gunships belonging to Mr. Bulino. They're gonna go and finish off the big T3 chicken belonging to Resistance, but the ASF belonging to Harzer should be capable of mopping up the broadsword in no time. Let's go back to a normal view, as we can see how this fight is gonna go and pan out, but it seems like the broadswords are unfortunately gonna get eradicated, as Mr. Bully is not paying attention at all. Most likely looking at his ASF or what is happening on the other side of the map. But still, the broadswords were enough to go and stop the push on the left flank, meaning that the situation is actually quite stable for now, even more so as Mr. Jeep managed to go and finish the big crab bot. There is the enemy Tota, who should be actually capable of putting some resistance against the crab bot. But the question is, for how long? And here comes the Spectre Gunship from Balance Slave Noob, also known as Harzer. As the damage is gonna be Oh no, someone is actually using the eggs from the crab bot and shielding them with their own. Oh no, the lob of fire actually managed to go and finish it off, meaning no flag to cover the crab bot. On the left flank we can see another Ahwasa drum being bobbed. It's gonna go and finish off a big chunk of the army belonging to Mr. Farmslet here. A beautiful drum. And also one of the reasons why the Asswasher is actually broken. Overpowered. The crab bot belonging to Mr. Tagara is under fire. As a bunch of harbingers are coming from the right flank. Also, the Galactic Colossus is gonna start leading them to the crab bot. No, never mind. It's actually focusing on the T3 units, meaning that the big megalith is gonna go and kill off the Galactic Colossus, which is gonna go and fall down in a few seconds. Yep, here we go. The Galactic Colossus belonging to Farmslet is falling down. As the mayhem is continuing, as the little T3 bots belonging to Farmslet are running all over the place, a single bomb from Asswasher is gonna go and finish them off, meaning that yet another push from Mr. Farmslet is gonna be nothing but massacration. There is also a few bricks and, Percivals from Mr. Resistance on a sightseeing trip in the base belonging to uninstalled Noob and Jeep, although a bunch of TWPDs is gonna be enough to go and finish them off. As such, the Percivals will have to go and fall back. Okay, never mind, it seems like Mr. Jeep is pushing it again on the left flank, this time pushing in with the crab and 2 spider bots, meaning this is actually quite a big army. The megalith was focusing on the probe unit. Never mind, the spider bot is taking more and more damage, 10k HP left, but it seems like it's gonna be under heavy fire from the enemy chicken. 4k HP left, 1k HP and kaboom baby. The spider bot is no more, but the chicken is still 1v2ing the enemy spider bot and the megalith, meaning it is a lost fight for him. The Ahwasa is flying over our heads, and soon enough we will see it start dropping bombs. And holy hell, what a game do we have here. As there is action all over the place, there is an Asswasher for Mr. Tagara, which is gonna go and try to deal with the enemy reclaim, gonna kill off a few T1 engineers. But the biggest reason to go and drop this bomb was to go and actually deny all of this mass from Mr. Farmslet. Yeah, a really nice choice to go and do that. We can see both air units, or rather the ASF forces, gathering on the right flank to go and cover the Ahwasas, or maybe even try to go and snipe them, as they're proving to be quite a pain in the arse for the top team. When we look at the mass income for the teams, the top team is actually racking in 2000 mass per second. Meanwhile, the bottom one is only at 1700 mass per tick, meaning there are 300 mass behind. But Jeep is not stopping at all. The push with the megalith and a few spider bots is still happening. Meanwhile, you can see a bunch of T1 units being transported to the battlefield by the transport, which is unfortunately not gonna manage to land, as the MAA from Mr. Jeep are gonna make a short work of it. We can see a bunch of T and T2 factories for Mr. Resistance being ravaged by the experimental units belonging to Mr. Jeep. Mr. Tagada crying, move us washers to the left flank, move it, we need to reinforce it right now, because the experimental units from Jeep are proving to be more than enough to go and eradicate the whole left flank, as Mr. Resistance have nothing at all to go and deal with it. The Asswashers are moving in, one end belonging to Tagada, second one belonging to Shen. The bomb have been dropped. We're gonna go and aim at the megalith. The bomb connects. The Asswashers are gonna take a lot of damage from the MAA belonging to Jeep. Another one connects with the megalith, meaning it has been dropped to only 20k HP. Meaning only 2 more bombs and the megalith is gonna be no more. This is getting quite hectic. We're gonna go and see another pass happening. A bomb being dropped at the Spider-Bot, an overcharge being fired in unison with the bomb dropping is gonna mean the Spider-Bot is no more and Mr. Resistance can walk away with his ACU in one piece. Let's see what is happening on the right flank. It seems like there was a small ASF fight as Mr. Farmstead is still using his strat bombers to go and deal with the enemy land forces. Which is a really good move considering there is not that much actually MAA in the mix. Oh, my neck. Oh, it hurts. Oh. I don't know if you could actually hear it crack, but it felt quite good. Anyway, the strat bombers, the shockers, are gonna go and drop a big fatty payload on the enemy bricks, meaning that the big chunk of the T3 army belonging to Mr. Tagada is gonna go and die like this. And the broadswords are also gonna go and deal a lot of damage. ASF from Shen are actually gonna go and reinforce the right flank. As we can see, the support is coming in. Although a little bit too late, a little bit too little. Let's see, do we have any kind of game enders or anything brewing in? Nope, we have the boys farm actually being made by Mr. Bully Noob. And also a duke have been started by Mr. Uninstalled Noob. Meaning that we are actually entering the game ender stage. And let's see if the bottom team is actually gonna respond in a kind. Yes, they are. There is the Disruptor, the T3 Cyber Artillery being produced by Mr. Tagada. And it is already 45% done. Meaning we are about to enter the Arty War. The megaliths from Tagada are still proving to be way too much for Mr. Farmstead to deal on the right flank. We can see some big chunky galactic colossi being built and also coming to reinforce the front line. Meaning that maybe soon enough we're actually gonna... Oh, a beautiful strat bomber rush is actually happening as we can see drums being bombed over the enemy megalith. A big chunk of damage have been dealt. Also the broadsword will have to go and fall back considering there is a little bit too much flak in the air. Meaning they're gonna take too much damage. There is also ASF from Mr. Balance Noob, dealing a lot of pain, meaning that the air force belonging to Mr. Farmstead will have to go and fall back. No, you didn't. You can't. You lit. I have no words for this barbaric action. This was the message of love, the only chance to actually acquire peace in this brutal war on this planet ravaged by the countless explosions. And yet, you have destroyed it. You have destroyed the heart, the only chance of acquiring peace. And for that you will have to suffer, Mr. Shen. I hope you lose this game, because what you have done is nothing but the most barbaric action you could have taken. Mr. Shen actually not gonna drop the bomb with his Hwasa. It seems, yep, no, the bomb is actually gonna go and drop that, although it's not gonna deal that much damage. Instead, it's gonna go and take a lot of damage from the sums that have been built by Farmstead, yeah? But let's go back and look at the left flank, where Mr. Rezinup is actually pushing in yet again, with an assist of a single Galactic Colossus and a Megalith, which is under heavy fire from the enemy Fatboy. Although it seems like Mr. Resistant have his own Fatboy coming to the front line, meaning that Jeep better run away. He might still have a few units in here. As we can see, there is also a Megalith and two Spider-Bots on the flanks, with the one on the left actually gonna go and start exchanging fire against the Galactic Colossus. The fire, the laser is firing away as both units are trying to go and kill each other. But it seems like the spider is gonna lose quite firmly. Goodbye, little boy. You were a good spider, but unfortunately, your owner had other plans for you, so well, you have been sent to die. A nuke being launched by Mr. Jeep. It seems like it's going for the base belonging to Tagada. Do they have a SMD? The SMD is here, but there are no missiles in it. Oh boy. It seems like the nuke is actually gonna go and no. Move the boys, move the boys, move, run away. Save the boys from the nuke, and the nuke is gonna explode and the boys are gonna go down with it. Not my boys, cries out Harzer, as he sheds a small tear from his corner of the left eye. The boys are no more. The Maxes are no more. There is nothing left. Not even a single wreckage. But on the other hand, that's you reap what you sow. It is minute 40 and your SMD was simply not loaded, but it seems like there is some action brewing up on the right flank, as we can see Mr. Tagada coming dangerously close to the front line. As there is 5 Galactic Colossus for Mr. Farmsletye, not to mention a big army of T2 gunships, also a few broadswords, meaning that if there's gonna be no air cover for the army belonging to Tagada, it is gonna go and fall down quite fast. The left flank is also now exchanging fire, and it seems like the megalith belonging to Mr. Jeep is gonna go and fall down, as it's under heavy fire from the enemy megaliths, and also from the fatboy belonging to Reziv, who's actually managing to mount a big counter-offensive. The Spinal Lord, the Marquis Lord, is actually dead. We can see some Notas being killed one after another by the MAA belonging to Mr. Jeep. They managed to go and drop a few bombs, but not enough to break the shield on the fatboy. And the Mantises are unfortunately not gonna be enough, Mr. Jeep. You need heavy units, heavy-duty units like Galactic Colossus, Fat Boys, and other big experimental boys to go and deal with this big army. But wait. The units belonging to Tagada are actually gonna go and see a counter-offensive being launched by Mr. Farmsletye. The air units are here to go and support it. The shockers are coming in here, they're gonna go and drop their bombs against the MAA belonging to Mr. Tagada. We can see the MAA exploding one after another. It was a really good shot because here comes the gunships. And they mean business. Gunships are in here, the Broadsword, the Spectres, they're here. The Galactic Colossus are also dealing a lot of damage to the enemy units. The first Crabot actually managed to fall down. Another megalith is down. It seems like this fight is gonna go to Mr. Farmsletye. Although, don't count Mr. Tagada out yet, because there is a lot of bricks in here in the mix. There is a lot of T3 units. A sniper boss and nukes is being planted as a close nuclear support from Mr. Tagada. And Ahwasa is from Mr. Tagada is gonna go and drop a bomb. It is gonna go and connect. A bunch of T3 units belonging to farms that have been erased from existing by a single bomb from the Ahwasa. But the Galactic Colossus are still alive and they are marching on forward. Where is the nuke? Where is the missile? I ask you, because it seems like it is... Yep, here it is. Kaboom, baby, but it seems like the nuclear missile have missed. And as such, the Galactic Colossus and a bunch of angry T3 units belonging to Farm City are gonna keep on pushing in forward. And it seems like there is nothing to go and stop them. A bunch of Strat Bombers from Mr. Shen are gonna go and drop their payload on the one of the Galactic Colossus. Although they're all gonna miss because Mr. Farmsletye is actually paying attention and microing his units properly. A few ASF gonna go and try to go and finish them off. But the Strat Bombers are already under the cover of the enemy air. It seems like a big airfight is gonna actually start brewing in, as the Ahwasas are dropping one bomb after another, dealing a lot of damage. One of the Ahwasas is gonna go and fall down as it has been shot down. The Ahwasa belonging to Tagada is no more. Meaning there is only one Ahwasa for the bottom team, but the airfire is happening, as both teams are coming out to go and settle the score in the airfight. All of the green and purple is intertwining, shots being fired all over the place, but it seems like the purple mass is just way too big. as the green units are falling one after another from the sky. And there is nothing left standing. Their fight, victory, goes to the bottom team as Mr. Shen wipes out all of the Air Force belonging to the top team. And Mr. Tagada saying Mr. Harzer saying to send the washers in to go and deal with the remnants of the big army belonging to Mr. Farmsletier. Also, we had some artillery being built, and yet we can see them exchanging fire, as the Duke have been finished not only for Mr. Uninstalled Noob, but also for Mr. Bully Noob, who's now also making a lot of strat bombers for whatever reason, even though he just lost his air control. But here come the ASF escorting the ass washer belonging to Shen. First bomb gonna get dropped on the air grid belonging to Mr. Farmsletier, and it is gonna be brutal. The bomb connects. And what is gonna be the next target? Because we can see the Ahwasa is still not done. It's gonna go and try to drop a bomb or no? Yep, the bomb is being dropped. Although I don't think it's gonna be enough. Yep, the bomb have been intercepted by the T2 and T3 shields belonging to Bully Noob. But the target should be the Duke. Drop a bomb and also Control K the Ahwasa to remove the threat of the T3 artillery. Do it. The bomb have been dropped, but it's not gonna deal damage. The shields are gonna blink for a second. As Shen is trying to go and micro, the interceptor are coming out for Bully Noob, but are they gonna go and kill the Ahwasa or not? The Ahwasa is being micro, the bomb is being dropped, and here comes the Control K. Is it gonna kill it or not? Yo, it is dead. The Duke have been killed by the bomb. Good job, Mr. Shen. Although, let's not forget that there is still a single artillery firing away at the Duke. And oh boy, while we're looking at the micro happening, it seems like Mr. Farmsletier is still pushing in. There is a lot of Air Force trying to go and stop the Galactic Colossus, but unfortunately, with this many of them, it might prove to be a little bit too hard. As we can see, there is nothing left from the base belonging to Mr. Tagada. There is nothing but rubble. The T3 Duke artillery, I mean the Cybern one, have been killed. The Megalith is also falling down, as we can see more and more. T4 experimental units are pouring in. We can even see T2 transport being used to go and deal damage to the enemy forces. But it is not gonna be enough. There's so much going on that I can barely speak. We have T3 Strat bombers, the shockers dropping their payloads. We have a lot of T1 bombers coming out from Sher trying to go and stop the onslaught happening on the hands of the Galactic Colossi. Also, there is a single Novolith that just managed to go and kill off the enemy T3 Pigeon. Actually, no, never mind. There is actually two of them, two Novaxes dealing a lot of damage. The Galactic Colossus have been stopped just outside the range of the T1 PDs, but unfortunately, they're also gonna go and fall down because the air control for the bottom team is actually just so overbeating. There is the Tota Chicken for the bottom team, duking it out against the enemy Galactic Colossus, which is gonna end up in a victory for the bottom team, meaning that there is actually nothing more to go and deal with the enemy Air Force, meaning that this little army belonging to Mr. Farmsletier and this Galactic Colossus is unfortunately gonna go and fall down to a bunch of T1 air units. But what is happening on the top? Let's go back, because Mr. Resistance was actually pushing at all the times. As we can see his big army of experimental units not stopping for a second, but actually Mr. Jeep is dealing some cheeky damage with overcharges. As we can see his ACU actually just flying, I mean just walking in here. Okay, never mind, it seems like a bunch of Strat bombers from Mr. Hartson are gonna go and deal enormous damage to the Fat Boy belonging to Mr. Uninstalled Noob. After all, Fat Boys don't really have that much HP, as such sniping them with a bunch of T3 Strat bombers is always a good idea. The Fat Boy Okay, the shield is down on the fat boy. But it seems like it won't mean anything at all, because there is nothing to go and stop it. Nothing to kill it, even more so, as there is the megalith actually supporting it. And it seems like the base belonging to uninstalled noob is gonna get under fire from the enemy strat bombers, dropping their payload, getting the shields low and dropping them one after another. Another fat boy belonging to him is biting the dust. As the army belonging to resistance is just unstoppable. The Galactic Colossus getting in range to use his big laser to dish out damage. And it seems like one building after another is gonna explode. As the experimental units are coming in closer and closer. Another fat boy getting into the firing range of the enemy megalith. It is getting quite close. As we can see, shells being fired one after another. Meanwhile, Mr. Farmstead here, still not stopping the idea of pushing on the right flank. As we can see, two Galactic Colossus pushing in with a bunch of supporting units. Actually make it free, because there is one more on the top. Let's go and keep the look on both flanks to see what is happening in here. Okay, we have two fat boys for Mr. Bully Noob, which would be just enough to go and deal with the enemy megalith belonging to Mr. Tagada in the north, meaning that it seems like the push happening on the north side is gonna get stopped for a while. But what we should be looking at is the push on the south flank, where we can see Mr. Farmstead is still not giving up. We can see some strat bombers from Mr. Balance Tube trying to go and deal damage to the enemy Galactic Colossus, but that is not gonna be enough. A Galactic Colossus building the Farmstead is gonna go and fall down after killing a single Itata belonging to Mr. Tagada. These strat bombers are still pounding, dealing damage as much as they can. But this time, Mr. Farmstead, they actually have some T2 flag to go and support him. Right now we can see Farms actually asking for some ASF to go and cover his little army on the south. As we can see, as the little Galactic Colossus belonging to Mr. Uninstalled Noob is actually gonna get dangerously close to the enemy fat boys belonging to Resistance. And soon enough, it is gonna... Yep, it is in range. It's gonna start taking damage to the fat boys. Although we have to go and remember that the Galactic Colossus is also under fire and only 20k HP left, meaning that it will actually manage to kill only a single of the enemy fat boys. That is, if it even can. No, it is gonna go and fall back, but there is still a few Harbingers ready to go in and finish it off. But it is not gonna give in. The fat boys belonging to Resistance are gonna go and stay alive. And there is a char coming up from Mr. Harzer, meaning that the Galactic Colossus belonging to Farmstead, they are unfortunately gonna get met with a swift ending. Also, it seems like there was only being built by Mr. Resistance, meaning that Mr. Jib and his sneaky ACU is gonna be no more, as he explodes at minute 50. So much action happening, so much to go and look for. Oh my goodness. Oh my fucking god. What do I see? Holy hell, that's a lot of fat boys. That's really a shit ton of fat boys. 6 fat boys coming from Mr. Uninstalled Noob, who's trying his best to actually keep on falling. I mean, to keep on pushing back the enemy units belonging to Resistance. Meaning that the top team is actually gonna go and maintain control over this big reclaim field. And there is a lot of mass here. 115k mass. They can basically make a Mavor or a Paragon if they want with it. But are they gonna do it or not? I don't see any game enders actually being built by the top team. Which is actually a little bit of a shame, considering just how much they have available in here. And what is happening in the bottom team? Do they have any kind of experimental to go and finish the game? Mr. Tagada, nothing at all. He's just microing his little ass washer to go and try to get rid of the enemy factories in the southeast belonging to Mr. Farmslet, as he's scrambling to reclaim the mass that have been left in here. And there is a lot of mass in here. 165,000 mass left on the doorstep of the base that was once belonging to Tagada. Are they building something? Some kind of experimental unit to go and finish the game? No, not yet. No one is building anything. Also, it seems like there is still a T3 artillery firing away belonging to Mr. Bulinov, who have rebuilt the Duke that was once dead after having an Ahwasa dropped at it. Also, I can barely speak. It's been going on for 15 minutes. And I have had enough of this epicness, because this is just way too much to handle. We can see Fat Boys once again exchanging fire, as everyone is just trying to go and grab as much reclaim under their control as they can. Just 70k reclaim here on this screen alone. But here comes the shockers. They're gonna go and try to snipe one of the Fat Boys, and it seems like a snipe is gonna happen, as the ASF are too slow to intercept. But here comes the Char. The experimental aircraft carrier is gonna go and fall down, but the airfight is actually gonna go and zoom, meaning the bottom team is once again gonna go and take control over the skies. Nope. They're not gonna go and fire afraid of the SAMs belonging to the top team. One more Fat Boy to worry about for the bottom team, as only 2 of them are left. The GC is under heavy fire from the 3, I repeat, from the 3 enemy Fat Boys. You can see them lobbing shells one after another. And is there anything to go and stop them? Can the top team actually reclaim control over the north field? Because these Fat Boys are proving to be quite a menace. There is also a bunch of sniper bots coming in here, so we will see how will it pan out. On the other hand, Mr. Farmstead is dealing with a bunch of Ahwasas, which are dealing a lot of damage to him. The Galactic Colossuses will have to go and fall back, as there is just way too many units for Mr. Tagada to go and deal with. Not to mention, the Ahwas are still proving to be quite a menace. And there is an explosion happening, as Mr. Uninstalled Noob is saying, "No, I have had enough, I'm out of the game. My team can go and deal with this themselves." As he control cases ACU. A bunch of T1 bombers being utilized by Bully to go and snipe the enemy Fat Boys. And they're doing a really good job. All of the ASF from Balance Noob are gonna go and keep on mopping them, killing them one after another. As Mr. Bully is not taking the fight, okay, he's gonna move his ASF into the front. But is it gonna happen? The airfight is not gonna happen, as Balance Noob is actually aware of the fact that he cannot lose air right now, as it would mean that the enemy could just keep on pushing in. Okay, never mind, Farmstead is yet again pushing in, this time with 5 Galactic Colossus, supported by a bunch of T2 flag and a bunch of T1 units. But Mr. Tagada is not gonna go and turn down the fight. As we can see, Galactic Colossus actually forced to move back, as Farmstead is recognizing the threat of taking way too much damage from the AoE being shot by the Etotas. A transport full of T1 engineers is being dropped to go and make a forward base. Oh, the war is raging on. Truly an infinite war, as yet again. It seems like the top team is gonna be the one to gain some advantage on the north field. Do we have anything happening here? Do we have any kind of maneuver being produced? Maybe some kind of paragon for the bottom team? Or is it gonna be all about throwing experimental units at each others? Is this how it's gonna work out? Because I don't see a single unit to go and finish the game. Mr. Balance Noob, where is your paragon? Where is your salvation? Where are the Mavors? Where is the YOLO? Where is the game-winning play? Never mind, Tagada coming out of the Mavor. As we can see him trying to go and build the big doom penis of the UEF. As it seems like this is gonna be the only way to actually go and crack the bases belonging to the top team. As Mr. Farmsletty and Bully Noob are still putting on an amazing fight. Like, who would have thought that they would be actually capable to regain the control over this big beast? Mass field, they're even scrambling to go and reclaim as much as they can. Let's see how much. Yep, 500, 600 mass per second from the reclaim alone. And when you look at all of the reclaim, 575,000 mass reclaimed for Farmsletty. 300 mass reclaimed for Bully Noob. 500,000 mass reclaimed both for Resistance and Tagada. That is what you can call a recycling. This is what you call being green. As the army belonging to Farmsletty is taking a short break just outside of the base belonging to Tagada. As both players are aware that they are unable to push in yet because they're still amassing more and more units. A bunch of TMLs being produced by Mr. Farmsletty. Most likely trying to go and snipe the enemy Mavor, which is already halfway done by Tagada. It is a run to see who can make the game ender first. Can the bottom team finish it on time, or can the top team actually get rid of it? As this army is growing bigger and bigger, we can see what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 Galactic Colossus for Mr. Farmsletty. As they are amassing more and more units. He was also asking for energy for nuke. But where was it? Farmsletty? You were asking for energy for something, and I think it was for nuke, but whatever, who cares? The chat is gonna go and come dangerously close to the enemy units. Although it seems like Farmsletty actually have the... Never mind, let's go and take a look at how many ASF units are for both teams. 170 for Mr. Farms, and there is 20 for Mr. Bully. Meanwhile, bottom team clocking at what? Shen, come on. $120 ASF for Mr. Shen, and then I assume like... there it is. 180 ASF for Mr. Harzer. Meaning that the air control is still in the hands of the bottom team. Okay. 60% done on the... maybe even 65% done on the Mavor. Oh, god damn it. But what is gonna be the answer for the top team? There is a single Duke fighting away, but that is not gonna be enough to actually go and get rid of the enemy Mavor, considering just how many shields are here. The SMD already have 4 missiles loaded, meaning he will need at the very least 5 nukes to go and push through it. So, Farms, Bully, what is your play? What are you gonna go and do to go and grab the victory from the hands of the enemy team? You can see Broadswords dealing some massive damage to the enemy expansion, together with a few Galactic Colossi belonging to Bully Noob. Macro says 75% on the big penis of doom belonging to Tagada, also known as Mavor. That is this little big artillery piece in here. And I can barely keep on speaking. We're already 1 hour into the game and 1 hour and 10 minutes onto the recording. And the players are not giving up yet. How many Galactic Colossus, Mr. Farmsletier? Show me. 12 Galactic Colossi. Meanwhile, there is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 experimental units for Tagada. Okay, make it 9. As there is one more chicken coming in. A scouting run for Mr. Balance Snoop is gonna go and try to spot what else is the top team cooking. But the top team cooking is nothing. There is no game ender coming out or anything at all. Not even second Duke or anything. And the shields are actually struggling quite a lot against this single. And oh boy, that is a lot of broadswords. As Bully said before, he has 70 broadsword in the air. Okay, never mind, this is just... Yep, 71 to be exact, so yep, he wasn't lying. And here comes the air fight, as Mr. Farmslot is pushing in to go and cover for his big army pushing in. Just below it, it's a mayhem. The Char dishing out damage to the land units. Galactic Colossus dealing out damage to the enemy experimental units as the ISF are intermingling in the air. It is what we call mayhem. Holy hell, what a show of epicness. It is just a big air fight, and it seems like Mr. Farmstead is actually gonna win it due to the fact that he have a bunch of units in the mix, a box of flag, a bunch of T3 MAA, and the air victory have been actually achieved. The Char is coming in, 2 Chars and a bunch of broadswords. They are going for the enemy Mavor. The Mavor is actually already finished. It is shooting down. It is trying to go and kill off the enemy base. It is a race against time. Here comes the Mavor. Here comes the Char. Here comes the broadsword. The broadsword are gonna open the fire. The flag is trying to go and clean out the air, but this is not gonna be enough. The Mavor is going down. I repeat, the Mavor is down. The base belonging to Mr. Tagada is down. A GG is coming out from Mr. Tagada as his ace got sniped by the band of broadswords. The Chars are no more. The Galactic Colossus from Mr. Farmstead is still pushing in, but they have been killed by the remnants of units belonging to Mr. Tagada. And a big army for Tagada. I mean, Farmstead is still pouring in one after another. As Mr. Shed still says, still winnable, guys. It is still winnable because the Duke belonging to Mr. Bully have been taken out as by the news broken to us by Mr. Shen. And holy hell, I am getting tired. I just wanna go and eat some food because I am hungry. I wanna drink some vodka, but this is not gonna happen because the game is still raging on. 1 hour on the clock. And we are still not even done. There is more experimental units coming out from Mr. Farmsletier. This is just a non-stop onslaught on the right flank. The top flank, let's see how is it going. It seems like Mr. Bully is still pushing in with an army of, engineers. Okay, Mr. Shen is saying GG well played. He's going out. Resistance also saying GG well played, as it seems like the bottom team have been crushed. GG well played to the madmen known as Farmsletier and Mr. Bullynoob, crushing the opposing forces against the odds. Well played, my lads. Holy hell, Shen saying trash. Also, I wasn't paying that much attention, but it seems like there was some drama happening on the chat for the bottom team. What a game, and holy hell, I'm tired. I'm sweaty as hell because not only I had to keep on casting this game for 1 hour and 15 minutes, it's also 31 degrees Celsius outside and I had no AC running in my room because otherwise it would be unbearable for you guys in the recording, so anyway. GG, well played to our players and holy hell, what a comeback. And I guess see ya next time. I don't know when it's gonna happen, maybe next month, maybe today, maybe a few days from now on. But there is gonna be a cast coming, just in the unforeseen future. Anyway, see ya and have a good day.